Hi guys, so I just wanted to make a quick video on some things you can do to stop being a narcissist snack. And this is also about what are narcissists attracted to, who do they attract, who are attracted to them. Narcissists are notoriously attracted to empaths, right? People that have a lot of empathy, people that are very kind, very caring givers, people that are really good at helping others, and who sometimes, if they're codependents, which a lot of empaths are also codependents, or codependents are also empaths, they may actually have, they may be pathological givers. And the reason I say that is if you are giving with no limits and you have no boundaries, that is pathological because it's toxic to you, right? And it's actually not very good for other people either. But so if you, I heard this once, like empathy with no limits, empathy with no boundaries is self-sabotage. It's like suicide, because you've got to have some limits on what you're willing to give. Because if you're just giving and giving and giving and giving and there's nothing left for you, it's that whole idea of, putting on the oxygen mask as the plane goes down so that you can breathe, so you can help other people. But codependents will try to put on the oxygen masks on other people, and they'll put, before the plane's going down, and they'll be choking and dying as the plane's going down. So that's kind of an analogy, but codependents tend to put other people's wants, needs, desires, and feelings above their own. They tend to minimize their own feelings. And typically these two go hand in hand, that codependents typically have like a really high level of empathy. So narcissists are very attracted to that because narcissists are pathological takers, right? And they need people that will forgive them over and over and over again for their egregious boundary violations. So, one way that you can really treat this, if you happen to be an empath that's an overgiver, or if you identify as somebody with codependent traits, one thing you can do is learn some very clear boundaries. And, if you grew up, you got to remember that if you have that codependence, it's a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. It's a trauma response. You probably had something bad happen in childhood where you learned how that you needed to people please, walk on eggshells, put other people's needs, desires, wants above your own, prioritize other people's emotions above your own because yours were just ignored or neglected. You were taught that your feelings don't matter and that other people matter more than you do, right? So, and you probably came from a place where your boundaries were violated. There were no boundaries in your family. It was enmeshed. It was boundaryless, or sometimes your boundaries were violated. It could have been sexually, physically, verbally. So there was probably some sort of boundary violations in your childhood, and you don't know what healthy boundaries are, right? So what you think are healthy boundaries, like other people look at and they're like, yeah, that's not a boundary. So, so really, it's really important that you get clear on what your boundaries are. And I think part of that is get really clear on what your moral code is. So if your moral code is that you believe in integrity, you try not to lie, you try not to steal, you try to live like a moral life, then when somebody is lying, you don't make excuses for their lying. You just exit the relationships, or you try to give them one chance, but you don't give them 57 chances. Codependents are notorious for looking at other people and trying to understand them and make excuses for poor behaviors. And, on one level, that's great to a certain degree, but you've got to be able to go, you know what, that behavior is not okay. It's a massive boundary violation, and I can't have somebody in my life who's constantly going to push on my boundaries. And, you can learn how to set boundaries, and most people, if they're healthy, are going to respect them. Now, if you don't set any boundaries and if you don't communicate your boundaries, you can't expect people to read your mind either. So it's this delicate balance, but get clear on what your boundaries are, what you will and will not tolerate, what your moral code is, what you believe is going to work for you. And don't just let everyone have access to you. Not everyone has the right to have access to you. You get to choose who you have in your life, right? To spend time with you is a privilege. It's an honor, and treat it as such. You'll find with a lot of codependents that they're boundaries are porous. They let anyone in. They let everyone in to take advantage of them. And they have a really hard time saying no. This might be helpful for you if you identify with this, take a month and every request that somebody makes of you, say to them, thanks for asking. Let me think about that and I'll get back to you. Rather than our immediate response of yes, 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 yes. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that you thought about me. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And then buy yourself some time. You think about it and ask yourself, is this a self-honoring behavior? Is this something I want to do? Not is this something I can do? You can go shovel manure for 14 hours a day if you want, or you can do that, but that doesn't mean you want to do that. So it's not about whether you can do it or can't do it. It's about whether it's a self-honoring behavior. So start considering saying no to every request for a while, for like 30 days, or you don't have to say no. You can say, hey, let me think about it and I'll let you know. And then healthy people, if you say, hey, I thought about it, it's not going to work for me. You don't need to be like, I thought about it, it's not going to work for me, and here's the 57 reasons why. We feel like we have to justify and explain, but no is a complete sentence. So absolutely let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. And the more you set and learn healthy boundaries for yourself and you start respecting yourself and you live by a moral compass, and you stick to your boundaries, the less likely somebody who is boundaryless and an emotional manipulator and a boundary pusher like a narcissist, the less likely they're going to be able to, infiltrate themselves into your existence. So I hope this helps. This is a super quick video, but I wanted to make one because somebody had asked about this. Thank you so much, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying this content. Have a good day. Bye.